Nowadays, you can't go a minute without encountering several posts about nature's beauty. While we agree that there's truth to them, they mostly miss the parts where predators eat their prey alive. As shocking as it is, it's a common practice among animals. Think about it. It minimizes a competitor's chances of snatching up hard-earned provisions from other animals. But that's not the only explanation for this gory practice. It varies from species to species. For instance, ribbon snakes, at number 10, do it for different reasons than, let's say, lions at number 2. In today's video, we're explaining why via 12 such ruthless instances. Number 12. An irresistible meal. As waterbirds, herons mostly feed on fishes like minnow and flounders, but since fishes become scarce with the approach of winter, their diet shifts to mammals. These include but aren't limited to water-dwelling mammals like the European waterfowl. We said not limited to because given the chance, herons will help themselves to land dwellers like rodents and rabbits as well, as opposed to certain larger animals, that is, ducks. They eat these smaller ones whole. So to say they usually don't repeatedly stab them with their 14.2-centimeter beaks or toss them into the air to break their spines. These two measures make fully grown prey easier to eat. However, smaller mammals like field mice and rabbits don't require them. Observe the ease with which this heron swallows a baby rabbit, otherwise known as a kit. You'll notice that it doesn't stop to spear it a few times like it would a bigger animal. One reason, besides its size, which makes this rabbit so easy to eat at one go is, well, the rabbit's hind legs. If you know a thing or two about bunnies, you know that when picked up at certain angles, they can damage their spines by profusely kicking their back legs. Simply put, the little guy made the bird's job easier by damaging its own spinal cord. And not just any bird, no sir. One that's a top predator in its own habitat. Talk about bad luck. Number 11. Gull. Although seagulls are scavenger birds, meaning that they mainly feed on carrion, they can hunt just as well. As for what? Well, they're not the pickiest of eaters. They'll hunt for anything from shrimps to a bag of chips, but in seasons where shrimps and shellfish are hard to come by, or when humans stop frequenting their habitats with snacks, these coastal birds make do with terrestrial prey. This includes rodents and other small mammals like rabbits. Now, since they don't have razor-sharp claws and spiky teeth like certain bird types, they rarely take the time to kill their quarry. Instead, they swallow it as it thrashes about. Take this gull devouring a rabbit as an example. We know it's hard for us to digest, if you know what we mean. But to experts, this is the norm. That's because seagulls have kinetic skulls. In simpler terms, they can unhinge their jaws to make room for large animals like the rabbit in question. Once the rabbit's been swallowed, the bird's gizzard, aka a digestive organ meant to help grind a bird's food, will take care of it. It's kind of like what snakes do, except for the fact that snakes have fangs. Speaking of snakes, here's our next pick. Number 10. Caught on the hop. Unlike bigger snakes, pythons, for instance, ribbon snakes, don't, or rather can't, strangle their prey before eating it. And since garter snakes are non-venomous, they can't subdue their hunt with venom either. On top of all this, their fangs don't permit chewing. Puncturing and gripping? Easily. But chewing? Not at all. This leaves them with no choice but to swallow their quarry whole. Now, while mammals can open their mouths beyond a certain point, snakes have no problem doing it. This is on account of their non-fused jaws or mandibles. Plain and simple. They can eat animals twice their size by disengaging each of their 4 jaws, 2 upper ones and 2 lower ones. These same mandibles then help them work their way across the length of their prey, which in this case is a frog, a really nonchalant one at that. Number 9. Monkey business. Like our 2 previous picks, Komodo dragons also have a movable skull. To add to that, they have expandable stomachs as well. However, quite unlike the last 2 contenders, it's not typical of them to eat their prey whole. They're more likely to tear it to shreds with the help of their strong necks, forelegs, and serrated teeth. Now, you might be wondering why it didn't do any of that with this monkey. Well, as far as we know, the easier the prey, the lesser the effort. Simply, if it had been, let's say, a wild boar, then the monitor would have knocked it off its feet first, probably using its claws. But since it's only a rather famished monkey, all it has to do is bite its neck. This is the Komodo's go-to attack, as it allows it to inject the prey with venom. Yes, you heard that right. These things are venomous. The rest? Well, connect the dots. Not only is the monkey almost incapacitated from the bite to its neck, but also affected by a blood flow inhibiting poison. It's as easy of a prey to eat alive as they come. Number 8. In a while, crocodile. By now, we think you fully understood that larger prey are treated differently than smaller prey. If not, come take a look at these two crocodiles eating a zebra. When it comes to smaller prey like lizards and frogs, these beasts have no trouble swallowing them whole. Nevertheless, with bigger animals, they tend to use their powerful jaws and sharp teeth to tear and splinter, in the case of turtles that is, the quarry first. Our research into eating habits has also revealed that they'll sometimes stash their food away. Their purpose is to let it rot. You know, so that it'd be easier to chomp down on. Nevertheless, this isn't that common. They prefer their food fresh, like in the clip. So fresh that it couldn't get away if they'd let it. Number 7. Pigging out. When it comes to alligators, they're described as lurkers. No, this doesn't mean that they hide in people's bushes or stalk them on their socials, at least not that we know of. It actually means that they patiently wait for hours on end till an animal comes by. When this happens, they quickly lunge at it. Believe it or not, they can propel themselves about 5 feet out of the water with the help of their tails, meaning that they can easily attack a creature if it's on a low-hanging branch. If the said creature is a small one, the gator will eat it in one go. But when it comes to larger prey, it has to drown it before it can get to snacking. That's exactly what happens in this clip as well. Once it has a hold of the pig, it drags it down. However, these beasts don't eat their catch underwater. The video cuts off quite abruptly, otherwise you would have seen the pig float to the surface, and that's where the alligator eats its meal, above the water. As for whether or not alligators eat pigs, well, they'll eat anything, even humans, if they're hungry enough. But thankfully, they can also go 2 to 3 years without eating, so go ahead, mark yourselves safe. Number 6. Pelicans care less. Pelicans, like other water birds, mainly feed on fish. However, in the absence of their preferred diets, they can eat about anything, even pigeons. At times like these, i.e. hunting or feeding, a pelican's pouch and bill are two of its most prized weapons. The bill, which can reach up to 18 inches, helps it detect food. Apart from that, the hook in its top half, or its upper mandible, ensures that any slimy catches don't slip away. The pouch, on the other hand, lets it pivot the prey into a swallowable position. That is, it makes its head point down the pelican's throat. Once that's done, all it needs to do is jerk its own head for the prey to slide to its stomach. And from our explanation of the gull's eating habits, you already know what happens next. Here's a hint: it's the gizzard's time to shine. Number 5. Hippopota Mess. For the longest time, it was believed that male lions were dependent on lionesses for food, but it turns out that they're also pretty good hunters. Well, if you consider the fact that they're solitary hunters unlike lionesses that hunt in packs, then it wouldn't be wrong to say that their skills far exceed those of their female counterparts. And it's not like they're going after small animals because of their solo hunting techniques. No sir. Check this clip out. The lion singly takes down the entire hippo. Okay, we agree that it's only a pygmy hippo, but that doesn't change the fact that they weigh about 300 pounds more than male lions. It's about time we dismiss the notion of male lions as layabouts. Number 4. Goat your neck. To reinforce what we said earlier, here's a video of a Komodo dragon feeding on a goat. Notice the classic bite to the neck? Exactly. It's meant to incapacitate the prey. Nonetheless, the behavior that the lizard is exhibiting here is kind of concerning. So to say, even though goats happen to be their favorite things to eat, they rarely eat their stomachs. It's usually because of their aversion to greens of any sorts, even the ones that the goat has eaten. Well, maybe this goat hadn't eaten anything. Number 3. Hyena Bear. When it comes to small animals, hyenas prefer to dine alone. But large animals are a different story. In order to hunt them down, they'll attack in packs. Take a look at this zebra for example. While it's no match for a group of these beasts, it would have easily chased away a single hyena with its powerful kicks. Number 2. Kitty Party. As we said before, lionesses are social hunters. Besides that, it takes them anywhere between 5 to 60 minutes to choke their prey to death, especially larger ones like antelopes that weigh almost 2,000 pounds. At this point, we like you to think back to the intro. Simply put, competition and risk from other predators make it difficult to wait things out. Consequently, lionesses will sometimes dig right in. Number 1. Cow down. In the month of fall, only a few days away from their hibernation periods, bears' need for meat increases tenfold. As a result, they'll chow down on anything from roadkill to wounded animals. Since the calf in question is lying beside the road, we're assuming it's wounded. That makes it all the more vulnerable to a bear's bite force of around 900 psi. Is eating prey alive common among bears? Well, they're very unpredictable creatures, especially closer to the winter months. In normal circumstances, their swipes take the prey out. This horrifying incident, therefore, is quite singular. Alright, comment down below what you want to see next. Remember to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to Wildly for more. See you in the next one.